and let's talk about that topic now. Because as you know, last night you wanted to discuss it, some things you wanted to discuss. Right. I just wanted to have more time to talk about it than in a 3-minute segment or 30 seconds left in a segment, because I think it's important. So let's talk. Vice President Pence, speaking at the Republican Jewish Coalition event in Las Vegas, as we've talked about on this show, the past few weeks were not great for President Trump and the Jewish community, particularly after he told a Jewish reporter to sit down at his press conference last week. You say that you think that President Trump and Steve Bannon are anti-Semitic? Do you think that?
Oh no,
they're not.
No,
they're not.
I'm sorry. I have said over and over again that neither of them has anti-Semitism.
Do you think this is an olive branch, though, him going? So now, with the correction there, you think they're not anti-Semitic, but do you think that him going to the Jewish cemetery, is that an olive branch of sorts this week?
Well, I think it's the right thing to do. I think the administration has not been tough enough on anti-Semitism. I think that they have allowed things to happen. I think Bannon has allowed Jews to be left out of the Holocaust commemoration because he doesn't want to alienate the people on the alt-right. He's not an anti-Semite, but he's a strategist and an opportunist, and he finds political support wherever he can get it. So I think that the Republican administration owed the issue of anti-Semitism a much more respectful approach, and I'm glad they're sending Pence out to do this. I'd like to see the President of the United States stand up and say, I do not want support from anybody who is anti-Semitic. I reject your support. Go elsewhere. I hope he'll say that, but short of that, what Pence is saying in Las Vegas is probably a very good thing. Going to that cemetery and sweeping up was absolutely wonderful. Now, can I also make my point about the Democrats? I hope
yes, we can, but I'm going to get the other folks' reaction, and then you and I are going to talk about that. So, and again, we were looking at earlier the Republican Jewish Coalition, and the Vice President is speaking again. That was a slip of the tongue. Alan has said that the President and the Vice President are not anti-Semitic. No. That was just my mistake in speaking. So listen, Nikki, what do you make of the outreach that Vice President Pence has made this week?
Well, I think that there's a careful balance here. I mean, it would be irresponsible not to recognize that there is a base of anti-Semitic voters that do support Donald Trump. And they need that base right now. They need them angry. They need them engaged. They need them, criticizing the media for not doing its job. That's their shtick. But they also need to appease their donors. And that's the same problem that the Democrats have, which we'll talk about in a second. But the Republican Party has that problem. They have to appease their base, which is some of them are anti-Semitic, not all, but there are some. And there are donors who, of course, are pro-AIPAC, pro-Israel voters.
Matt, you say President Trump denounced anti-Semitism, and that should be enough. But what about the rise in anti-Semitism across the country?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that's been said here so far, and I do think it's concerning that we've seen these incidents, and that's problematic. My point, though, is a couple days ago, President Trump was very clear in denouncing anti-Semitism, and then I saw, another 24 hours of the press saying, but was he passionate enough? But did he denounce it strong enough? And
I don't think that was it, Matt.
I think this
Matt, I think you're being hyperbolic. I think they were saying is why didn't he? What took him so long to do it? Because if you ask someone a question about anti-Semitism, about racism, about xenophobia, about misogyny, about anything, all you have to do is it's an easy answer. We have no place in our culture, in our society for it, and it will not be tolerated. Boom, end of story.
I think this plays into what a lot of people don't like about the press and the sense that they're browbeating him. He was very clear. I think he gave a very responsible and appropriate comment.
I think the press did say that.
And there was a lot of follow-up commentary in the press, like, yes, but he should have said it stronger. He should have.
He should have.
Look, I just think that's part of what people don't let. It appears that they're going after Donald Trump unfairly.
Imagine if his words, as strong as his words are against the press, were to counter these statements.
Right. Or against Hamilton, the cast of Hamilton.
Exactly.
He hasn't even been able to generate as much opposition to anti-Semitism he has on his tweets. So